You know, when you walk into a library, you think of quiet, right? Books, knowledge. But behind the scenes, there's this silent battle going on every single day. And it's not just about protecting the books. It's about protecting our data and the very heart of the library itself. So let's dive into this hidden world.
Okay, get this. Back in 2023, the British Library, one of the most important cultural institutions on the planet, just went dark. For months. I'm not kidding. The website was gone, the catalogs vanished. Everything just stopped. And this wasn't some simple power outage. Nope, it was a massive ransomware attack. They were completely locked out of their own systems, with sensitive data exposed to the world. The fallout from that, people are still talking about it. It just threw this huge question out there. How on earth did this happen? But, and this is the scary part, could it happen to your library? You know, the one down the street? To figure that out, we've got to understand what we're up against.
All right, so if you want to stop a disaster, you have to know what it's made of, right? Information risk. It sounds like some boring techie jargon, but it's not. Think of it like a recipe for disaster with 3 key ingredients. Let's take a look at the anatomy of an attack.
Okay, ingredient number 1, the threat. This is basically the bad guy, the who or the what that's trying to cause trouble. For the British Library, the threat was a super-organized ransomware group. They were the ones knocking on the door, looking for a way in.
Next up, ingredient number 2, a vulnerability. This is the weak spot, the unlocked window. A vulnerability isn't the attack, it's just the opening that lets the threat slip through. And it could be anything, really. It could be technical, like some old software that hasn't been updated, or it could be human, like, someone on staff accidentally clicking a bad link and handing over their password. Whoops.
And the final ingredient, the impact. This is the explosion at the end, the damage. When that threat finds that vulnerability, boom, you get the catastrophic result. We're talking patron data getting leaked online, the whole library being shut down for months on end, and maybe worst of all, completely losing the public's trust.
So you put it all together and you get this fundamental equation. It's super simple, but so important. Risk equals threat times vulnerability times impact. Now here's the key takeaway. You can't get rid of all the threats out there, right? That's just impossible. But if you can knock down any one of those other factors, if you can shrink the vulnerability or lessen the potential impact, you bring the whole risk level way, way down. Okay, so we get the equation, but how do you actually fight back? Well, you don't just wait around to get hit. You get proactive. You use strategic tools, you figure out where the main battlefronts are. Let's see how this all comes together into a real defensive game plan.
So the pros don't just make this stuff up as they go. They use established frameworks. And you could think of these like, strategic blueprints for building a fortress. There are big international ones like ISO 27001, more flexible ones like the NIST framework that's really popular in the States, and even ones baked into law like GDPR over in Europe. They all give you a step-by-step plan, how to identify problems, protect your stuff, detect attacks, respond when they happen, and recover afterward.
But here's what's so fascinating. The risks for a library are incredibly diverse. It's not all about hackers and ransomware. I mean, think about it. Libraries have this really unique duty to protect the privacy of what you read. You're reading history. They also have to fight against misinformation creeping into their collections. And then there's this weird, slow-motion risk, digital preservation. The idea that old files could just rot away and become totally unreadable.
So you've got the blueprints, you know the threats. How do you actually make a plan? Well, it all boils down to a playbook, a step-by-step action plan that you can run again and again. And this is pretty much it. This is the playbook. First, you figure out your assets. What's the important stuff you need to protect? Then, you pinpoint the threats and vulnerabilities, just like we talked about. Next, you analyze everything and figure out, okay, what's the biggest, scariest risk we need to tackle right now? Then you actually treat the risk. That could mean installing new software, training your people, whatever it takes. And here's the most important part. You never stop. It's a constant cycle. You monitor, you review, you adapt. But this whole thing, it goes way beyond just tech and flowcharts. For a library, protecting information isn't just another task on a to-do list. It's a core ethical duty. It's tied right into their whole reason for existing. Giving people safe and equal access to knowledge.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at the difference. After a data breach, the law might say, okay, you have 72 hours to tell the government. That's it. But the ethical duty for a library? Oh, it's so much bigger. It's about being transparent with you, the patrons. It's about telling you what happened and fast.
It's about offering actual, real support. And then it's about sharing what they learned so that maybe, just maybe, another library doesn't have to go through the same thing.
And get this is so important. We talk a lot about these genius hackers in dark rooms, right? But the data shows again and again that the vast majority of breaches involve a human element. A simple mistake, someone was distracted for a second or got tricked by a clever email. Which means a library's single best defense isn't a piece of software, it's their people, a staff that's trained, aware, and on the lookout.
But none of this is simple. It's not black and white. Managing risk is all about making these really tough ethical calls. Check this out. Should a library just delete all your old data to protect your privacy? Sounds great, right? But wait, what if that data is priceless for future historians? Or what about this? Should they lock down remote access to make it harder for hackers? Okay, maybe. But then what about people who can't physically get to the library? You see the problem. It's a constant balancing act.
So, in the middle of all these tough choices, what's the guiding principle? Well, for libraries here in the States, it's powerful statements, like this one from the American Library Association. And the idea is really simple. A library's duty to protect you goes above and beyond just following the law. It has to. It's all about this deep ethical promise they make to their community.
And that brings us right back to where we started, back to your local library. Because this silent battle we've been talking about, it's really a test of what an institution truly values. So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you're in your library, just think for a second. When it comes to my personal information, are they just checking boxes and following the law, or are they really, truly in my corner fighting to keep me safe?